Hey guys, so what is Turo? Should you be using Turo? And what's gonna be my experience with Turo? That's what you're gonna find out in this video, so stay tuned. So what is Turo? You've probably heard about it. I had heard about it a couple times, didn't really know the ins and outs about it, but in my last trip that I just took, I was in Nashville, Tennessee. I needed to rent a vehicle to get over to the distillery that we toured. There's gonna be a video about that too, so stay tuned for that one. But needed to rent a vehicle, didn't want to go to the rental company. I had heard Turo and thought it was a great time to try it. So what Turo is, for those that don't know, it's a platform that lets you rent a vehicle, but instead of renting it from the rental company, you're renting it directly from the owner of the car, right? It's kind of like Airbnb, when somebody lets you stay in their home, but now somebody lets you actually just drive their car. And there's all types of cars on there. So if you want to drive a Ferrari, a Lamborghini, a Porsche, a Mercedes, a Tesla, whatever you want to drive, there's most likely an owner that is willing to let you drive his vehicle. That is Turo. So now we're going to go through and actually show you the process of how the app works, the interface, some of the ins and outs, and some of the advantages and disadvantages that I came across. So to use Turo, you download the application, and basically it's very easy to use. You create a profile. The one thing to know, so when you're creating a profile, you have to put in your personal information, your driver's license information, the same information you would give a rental company when you're renting a car. The one difference is that you have to get approved. So if you're on a time limit and you need to get your car right away because you need to rent it, it's not as seamless as renting it directly from a rental company where you just walk in, give them your credit card, your driver's license, fill out the documentation and get out. With this, you actually have to get approved, which can take up to 24 to 48 hours. There was an issue with mine because the image that I kept sending them, even though it was high quality and everything, for whatever reason, they weren't buying it. So when they responded, I actually had to take a picture of my license next to my face to kind of prove that that was really me. For whatever reason, there was something that was being triggered. They didn't believe it was me. So took a picture with the license next to my face, sent it over, and then waited another 24 hours for them to actually respond if I was approved or not. They did get back to me before the 24 hours, but that's something to be mindful of. If you need it in a time crunch, you want to get this process started a couple days before you actually need the vehicle in case any issues actually happen. When you actually come into the application, you'll see the city, airport, or location you'll be renting the vehicle in, since it doesn't have to be in the specific city that you're currently in. So if you're taking a trip and you know you're going to be in another city, you can actually book the car ahead of time prior to you actually being in the city. So here, when we're in the application, we can search, let's say we're in Orlando, and we're going to Orlando, Florida, and we're gonna see, we could tell them the dates that we are, since different cars, different vehicles might be available in different time frames. So let's pick March 3rd, and we're gonna use it to the 6th. And then you can put here the time frame that you want to start the rental of the vehicle, and as well as the ending time. So let's say we're gonna start at 9 a.m. and we're going to finish at 4:30 p.m. on Friday the 6th, March 6th. You click save, it does a search, as you can see, we're seeing here on screen, and shows us all the vehicles available during that period in that city, and then the rate that it cost us to actually rent that vehicle. So here we have a Nissan Versa, we have a Mazda 3, Honda Civic, a Tesla Model X 2017, and we see the rates for all these vehicles. Look, there's somebody here renting a Maserati 2016, and we could go into that vehicle and it will give us much more details about this. So we see that it's available during this time. We see who the host is. You see the rating that the host has, how many trips have been taken in the vehicle or by the host if he has multiple vehicles. So this host alone has 291 trips that he's been a part of. And then you can also see reviews having to do with the host and the vehicle. And it gives you a bunch of other information if you want to know about the car, if you're driving a car, if you've never driven before, extras and a bunch of other stuff. So all you have to do is, let's say here we have this Maserati for $99 for this per day for this time frame. We could go to checkout, and here we go. Tells us how much we're going to be spending per day. You do have to get insurance protection on it, same way you would when you're in the car insurance company or in the rental company. The only thing is, when you're at the car rental company, you can actually waive the insurance if you have your own insurance. With this, you can't. You have to actually have minimal protection. You can actually get another higher protection, but at the minimum, you have to get standard protection. And then any other fees, how many miles, if they actually put a limit on miles that you can drive during your trip. They don't want you, rent in Orlando and take a trip all the way to New York. So they actually put limits, or they'll charge you additional. And there you go. And then I go one step to go. If you want any extras, we see here that we can book extras. Some hosts, this one doesn't require, but some hosts, what I've seen is that they actually require you to tell them what your trip is about, what are you doing, so that they can actually get more information on you, especially if you don't have a lot of reviews yourself as a driver on the platform. So one of the advantages with using the Turo platform is that you get access to a wide assortment of vehicles that you wouldn't have with a traditional rental company. The traditional rental company has the same vehicles over and over and over. As opposed to this, we can see that you literally can drive all types of vehicles, whether you want a very simple vehicle that you're not spending a lot of money. Here we have a Toyota Corolla 2014, $25 a day, very cheap. Or you can go ahead and drive a Porsche Macan for $99 a day, which is still cheap. $99 a day to actually drive a Porsche. If you've never driven a Porsche, it makes it very easy to do so. So definitely enjoyed the platform. It was very interesting, the whole process of renting on Turo. So one thing is the actual interface here that we've kind of been going through, and you see what it takes to actually rent a vehicle. The next thing is that instead of taking the vehicle directly from the lot, the same way you would with a rental company, with this you can have the host drop off the vehicle for an extra fee. Pay him a fee, he will come to your location, your hotel, wherever you're at, and drop off the vehicle. Or you can actually meet the host wherever he's at and pick up the vehicle yourself and save yourself that money. So I'm going to show you that process of what it was when I actually went to go meet the owner himself to go pick up the Tesla that I rented during this trip. So when I went there, let them know that I was on my way through the application. You can message on there. Went there and actually met Morgan, the host of the vehicle, the owner of the vehicle, and he gave me a tour and kind of rundown with the Tesla vehicle, since it's an electric car and it's a little bit different than a traditional car. So he was kind of giving me the ins and out compared to if you just rented a traditional gas car, the guy would just give you the key. They have another thing now that they actually have a lock box on the vehicles themselves. So if your host is not available, he gives you a combination that will unlock the lockbox, give you the key so you can actually get into the vehicle and just drive off and start your journey. One thing that I will say that you should be knowledgeable about or have awareness of is the fact that when you start your journey with a vehicle or your rental with a car, you should actually take pictures of the vehicle. This is something that I didn't find out until after the fact. But when you start your rental process and you go into the application, you can actually take pictures of the vehicle that will get added to the booking. So then if something were to happen to the vehicle, or there's a scratch or a ding, and then the host comes back and says that it was you, but that was previously already there, you actually want to document it before you actually rent the vehicle or drive off with the vehicle. This is actually something that happens in the rental companies, right? When you're first taking out the car from the rental lot, they actually go and actually mark up on the list of any damages or things that are happening with the car. But since you're not doing it from a rental lot or a rental company, it's dependent on you to actually do this process. You're taking on the role of some of the duties that the rental company would do to actually make due diligence of marking down, this is what's happening with the car. It has a ding here, it has this cracked, or is this. So depending on the status of the car that you're renting, the condition that it's in, you want to be mindful of that. Definitely do that before you drive off. I didn't do it until after the fact, but luckily, nothing happened while I was driving the vehicle. But it's something to be aware of, because you are dealing with another person. You're not dealing with a company. So if that person wants to say that you were the one that scratched it, you were the one that dinged it up, and you don't have no proof to say otherwise, you will get charged for that. So in the process of you signing up for the application, you are saying that you would be responsible for any damages. You do have the insurance in case of car, but in case of a ding or anything of like that, I'm not sure the insurance is going to want to pay. You know how insurance is, they never try to pay, so most likely you're going to end up with that bill and your rental fee is going to end up being much higher than you were expecting. So make sure you actually do that process. Trying out Turo for the first time, and I'm also driving a Tesla for the first time, which I'm super excited about. I've been wanting to get one of these cars. I've never even driven one, and now I get the chance to actually drive one and see if I fall in love with it even more and end up getting one myself.
Here we go! Oh my god. Should I trust him? I don't know.
So we're talking about Turo right now, but I want you guys to click the link below. It's gonna take you to the video of Tesla. Once this video is finished, don't skip this video yet, but click the link below once this video is finished. I'll also put it at the end so you can see the experience of driving a Tesla. My girl was freaking out because we were using autopilot. It was our first time both using autopilot for the first time, and she was freaking out. You have to see it, it's hilarious. I was dying laughing, almost felt bad putting the footage out there, but she was cool with it. Because she was really freaking out. So that's one thing that I really liked about Turo in itself, is the fact that you're able to try out these other vehicles that you've never tried. Not only are you renting a car because you need to rent a car because you need to get from point A to point B for whatever you're doing during your trip, but you actually are able to also try out a dream car or a car that you just are curious about, whether it's a Porsche, a Maserati, a Ferrari, a Lamborghini, a Bentley, you name it. When I was scrolling through there, I saw all those vehicles available for rent. So you're able to now kill two birds with one stone, right? Not only get to where you're at, you're able to try out some incredible cars. So definitely recommend using Turo at least one time if you have a dream car you're trying to rent out. There wasn't too many negatives that I can really think about it, besides the fact of knowing that if you are in a time crunch, make sure you start the process earlier because of that issue that can happen on getting you approved. I'm sure if you search on YouTube, you're probably going to find a bunch of horror stories for people who maybe rented on Turo and the person that they rented from said that they did all this damage to their vehicle. Right? Because now you're dealing with a person instead of dealing with a company. Same with Airbnb. You come in, you hear the stories of people staying in somebody's home and finding out that there were cameras everywhere in the living room and the bedrooms, right? You're taking that chance when you're taking a corporate company out of the mix that has certain policies and procedures in place to ensure that there's a level of security and professionalism in the experience. When you're dealing with an individual, you do run the risk of, depending on the person you're dealing with, right? If you rub them the wrong way, or they're having a bad day, or they're just a shady individual that decides to say that you were responsible for something that maybe they did or their significant person did that same day that you returned the vehicle, and now they're able to say, no, it was so-and-so, or it was Henry that actually did this and scratched the car. So you want to be mindful of that when you are trying these out, especially when you're trying them out with luxury vehicles where the cost can be very high for you to actually have to fix it. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that. If you had any other questions or any comments or anything else you wanted to know about Turo that I didn't answer, please let me know down below. It will definitely help me in the future so I know other things to address or other things to actually highlight in these videos. And now make sure you click on that video so you actually see the experience of driving a Tesla for the first time. It's very funny. My girl was dying, she was freaked out, and you're definitely gonna enjoy it. So see you guys next time. Almost forgot, make sure to like and subscribe, follow the channel. I'm gonna be putting out a lot of stuff that not only that I'm doing or vacation stuff, but also some digital marketing stuff, how you guys can get started with digital marketing, making money online. There's gonna be some educational stuff that I wanna get out there to get you guys started, or even making side income. You don't have to leave your job. It's a way for you to just make additional income. So stay tuned for those videos. Until next time.